the New Year's Essentials Checklist for healthcare clinic owners. This is going to be a doozy, so stay around to the end and I'll share with you a couple of my top tips for planning for 2023. Now, in this session today, if you do have the checklist already, you can download it below. If you do have the checklist, play along with me and take a few notes because there may be some things in here that you're not sure exactly what it means, and that's okay. And if you do have any further questions, you can always reach out to me at peter@clinicmastery.com. So let's dive on into this one. And while we're doing that, please like and subscribe this video. Tripped over my words there. Like and subscribe this video. It helps us to reach more people, to help more people. It's just down there, takes 2 seconds. So this is what the New Year checklist will look like. So when you jump in, it'll say, make a copy, and you click it and it's going to make your own copy. Now, there is a caveat here. You do need a Google account to do this. So sometimes you jump into this and you don't have a Google account. All you need to do is create a free Gmail account, and then you'll have access to all of this goodness. And it is fantastic. Not to pump our own tires too much. But if we just break it down for a second, there are 3 tabs here. So the first one is the New Year checklist. The second one is the action schedule. And the third one is the alternate action schedule. So what we'll do is we'll go through, I'm going to explain a few of the key things point by point to try and give you some context as to the things that we're focusing on and maybe why we're focusing on them. I won't spend too long on any one thing because I want to get as much as I can into this video. Watch it on 2 times speed if you can. I can talk a little slowly sometimes. All right. Buckle up, guys. So we have broken this down. If I just zoom out for a second, as you can see, into diary planning, team, clients, brand, scroll across a little bit, referrers, and finance. So if we start on the left, top to bottom, and move our way across. And how you use this is you just give it a little tickle when it's done, and it'll go green, I believe, in colorblind. So give that a little tickle as you do each of these things. Now, when we say culture day, so team culture day, that's basically a team day, whether it's a half day, full day, an hour, a retreat, whatever that may be. But is it booked in the calendar? And I would challenge you to have all of your team days for the year, the big team days, booked in the calendar in advance right now. So as you go through, please do tick these off as you do them, not before you do them, obviously. Then the next key thing is to plan your next 120-day plan. Now, this for you may be a 90-day plan. You may work in quarters. We work with what we call an ASAP rhythm, as sustainable as possible. And we do 120-day plans. And we have within that rhythm time to make sure that what we're implementing is sustainable, but also some time off built into that. So it's not sprinting all the time because that's unsustainable. We want to make sure we update our Google business listing. So if there are any holiday hours, we want to make sure that this is reflected in your Google My Business. And Google really likes it when you're consistently updating things. If you come up to the holiday period and you update that, and then you come out of the holiday period and you change it again, you add a few different things there, it just sees that you're active. And when Google sees that you're active, well, it knows if someone is searching for something, that this is a real business that is still going. Simple. Schedule in the start dates for new team members. If you have new team members coming on, what are their start dates and what do you need to do before then? So if you say on the 1st of March, I've got a therapist starting and it's currently the 31st of January. If we build that and work backwards from there, what do we need to get done and what are the key dates for each of those things to make sure a very smooth process? The next one is to adjust timetable post-holidays. Now, you may have timetable changes during the school holidays. Coming out of those now, making sure that you adjust them to make sure that you have the maximum capacity available within the clinic to help as many people as possible. Preparing the diary for additional hours in the lead up to the Christmas period. So this is the end of the year. You may be filling this one out. And because typically we would do this in December, actually. But just making sure you adjust that leading into Christmas. If you have any annual pest sprays, carpet cleaning, any of those things that you might get done annually over the break, you'd book those in. Preparing for birthdays and work anniversaries, make sure these are in the diary. It's simple, it's easy. Grab your GCal out, chuck it in, and make sure you put a reminder for a few days before. This is a little hack. You can ask it to remind you 2 or 3 days before so you can be prepared. If you're anything like me, I used to get the notification on the day and be like, oh gosh, I've got to organize something now. So have those reminders 2-3 days in advance. Reviewing rosters, make adjustments, and you can add things on here too. You don't just have to have what we have. Setting up events in the calendar for the new year and asking the team to allocate themselves or to help organize specific events. If you do have these things coming up, plan them. Have them planned out well in advance. It's going to make life so much easier. For the team, one thing we like to do, and if we're looking at key things for success in healthcare, it's having a team that is energized, that loves working with you, that when they come to work, you know, it's not just, or sorry, they know it's not just about work. Now, we are there to help clients. We are there to work, but we also want to make sure that we're looking out for them as a person. And one key way you can do that is make sure that they have some rest time, some holiday time booked in advance, and help them to schedule that. There's nothing worse than a team member wanting to take a holiday, and then when they go to take that, they actually can't because other people are already scheduled in to do that. And they can't have that many people off at once. So you're actually helping them to be more organized with that is going to lead to happier team members. Reviewing desire statements. Now, this, you may not have heard of this before. You may have. A desire statement is basically in present tense. Where would you like to be in 3 years' time in different areas of your life? So not just in your career, but also in your relationships, in your family life, in your health or fitness, financially. There's a whole range of different areas of your life that you can look at, personal growth, etc., and say, where do you want to be in 3 years' time? And this is something that at Clinic Mastery, we get all of our clinics to do with their team members, because we don't just want to help this person to grow as a therapist. We want to help them to grow as a person. And I think for so many of us in healthcare, we always talk about treating the whole person, not just the symptom or not just the injury or the issue. But then we don't always roll that over to our team and the people we work with. So we want to work with the whole team member, not just the therapist. Hope that makes sense. Ensuring their dashboards are ready. So if we have reporting KPIs, make sure that that's ready, up to date, ready to go day one. 0 to 100 is our induction guide. So if you have an induction process, make sure that you are refining that continuously, because that is a first impression and you only get one chance at that. Completing the pre-start induction resource. We want to make sure that when people start in the team, that they come and on day one, they feel comfortable, confident, and that they're in the right place. Making sure your Google Workspace, all up to date, arranging your first team social event for the year, making sure that these are booked in the diary, mapping out practitioner training modules. These things are simple, but they're key, and making sure they're in the diary is going to help you to feel like you're in control of everything. Reviewing the timetable for team members starting and making sure that it's reasonable and fair. Requesting documents from practitioners. And it always happens around this time of year. We're like, oh, we need this document now. And then you're working with Children's Up and your police checks up. Have these scheduled into the diary so that you can follow these up in a timely manner that doesn't leave you feeling flustered. Planning your annual fun awards for the team. For us, it's the core value champions. It's the clinic champions. If you have anything like this, make sure that that's planned out in advance. Updating team photos and profiles on the website is the next thing. This, it seems so simple, right? But how many websites do you go on and the photos haven't been updated in years? And the bios haven't been updated since the day they started. So how good would it be that your website has updated photos and updated bios once a year, twice a year, whatever it may be, but schedule that in the diary too. For clients, perform compliance audit on practitioners' treatment note obligations. Some people do this really well. Other clinics don't do this as much. I would definitely say that this is worth having in the diary, because it's all good until it's not. And too often I have seen and worked with a few clinics where something happened and they needed those notes. Sometimes it was legal action, sometimes it was work cover, and the notes weren't there and they hadn't done compliance checks and they didn't have that in the diary. So making sure that this is something that is scheduled in the diary regularly whether that's once a month, once a quarter, but it's a regular scheduled activity for you to be checking their treatment note obligations or for someone to be checking them. For us, the next thing is the clients without upcoming appointments. This is a daily task, just to look at who doesn't have an upcoming appointment, understanding why, so we aren't letting anyone slip through the cracks that was meant to be rebooked, but for some reason they weren't or is missed by the therapist or the admin team member. Top-down review of client experience and scheduling any changes to processes. I would say this, do this twice a year, because when it comes to business, if you can provide an exceptional experience. So if someone comes into your clinic and they are satisfied, they had a good experience, they may go and tell a few people about it. They might. But if they come in and they have the most exceptional experience that they've ever had in a healthcare clinic, they're going to go and they're going to tell everyone. And then you're going to have an army of salespeople who work for you for free, basically, because they love what you do and they love what you're about. And I know you've had this before. I know you've been to some business, to some company, and you left and you just remembered how they made you feel. And you told people about that. And you go back there and they may not be the cheapest and they may not be the closest, but you choose to go back there because of the service they provide and the relationships you've built. So look at this for your own clinic. You can look at creating a compelling offer. This is more for the MSK clinics. I understand in PEDS, you don't need a compelling offer to get more clients, maybe a compelling offer to get more clinicians. We can talk about that later, that's fine. But a compelling offer to fill the books if you're seeing the clinicians being a little bit unutilized or underutilized, sorry. Adding gifts or products to sell. Handwriting a Christmas message. Again, we would typically do this around December, so hold on to this for December. Handwrite a Christmas message and give it to clients attending over the end of year period. You can also send these out to referrers too. Planning SMS and email campaigns for the New Year's resolutions and health goals. Sending a video to the team to reinforce ideal client care of the December-January period. And typically what we'd have in a video like this, and the video for us was a simple way of doing it, especially if you have multiple locations and you can't see everyone all the time. But something that we might put in this video is talking about, we want to make sure that everyone is getting exceptional care. And that doesn't mean we just say, see how you go just because it's the holiday period. If someone has a treatment plan, let's make sure we're following that treatment plan. And they may be busy. There's lots of people busy, they're going away, but let's make sure that we have something in the diary for when they get back from their holiday or from their busyness with family. Let's make sure that is locked in the diary so that they don't miss out and so that they don't get too far behind on their treatment plan. Be a short, simple video like that, just making sure that everyone is aware. And if you're using Slack, we love for everyone to just leave the eyes emoji on that one. Let us know they've seen it. Brand. So thinking of brand and marketing, we would look at some kind of New Year private health promotion. New Year Health Fund reset. I think it's everything except Defense Health here in Australia. You can also look at a Medicare reactivation if you have EPC clients coming through. You can review your digital marketing ad spend and adjust according to your budget. And typically we look at our digital marketing spend in healthcare of between 3 to 5% of your total revenue. And in this, I would include marketing spend to get more team members. So recruitment, I would say, falls into this as well, and it should form a part of your marketing strategy. And realistically, at the moment, the biggest challenge is getting team members. Like, no matter what industry you're in healthcare, there seems to be a shortage of applicants. But if you can create a desired clinic location for people to work at, and you can communicate that well to the market, and you can market that well efficiently and effectively, I guarantee you'll find the right team members. Spend some time researching charities and causes that you'll support this year. You may support charities or causes in a certain way, whether that's giving time, money, but actually have a look at that, review that, and how can you make that more efficient? How can you improve what you're doing and become a clinic for good in your community? Be known as the people who do more good. Send welcome back email to clients. If you've had some time off, if you've been closed over the break, welcome back. For the people who have recently had an appointment, for the people who aren't booked in, who had an appointment in, say, November, December, it could just be a touching base email. You can even get some of your team to contact people directly, depending on the relationship there also. You may want to promote new practitioners who are coming on board via social media, promoting new practitioners coming on board via your website. And I would say, find a photographer to come in and take those photos, make them look great, make them professional shots, make your website and your social media something that you're proud of, because when you're looking for more team members, people are going to judge you based on your brand, based on your first impression, based on what you look like. And so think about, what is your brand image? And do you want to show people that you are a professional unit, you're a professional brand? And I would say the difference between taking out an iPhone with poor lighting and getting someone to come in with some lights and a professional camera can make a really big difference when someone's looking at your website and going, is this somewhere that I want to work? It's that attention to detail, that can make a big difference. Find out what community events are on and look for ways to be involved. If you like to be involved in your community, this is a great opportunity to get your name out there, to get your brand out there, and to really start making a difference. And finally, if there's anything you need to update on your website, it's time for a website audit at the start of the year, because I guarantee you there's going to be plenty of things that you look at and go, wow, that is out of date. That is way out of date. All right, moving across to referrers and then finance to finish up. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear, there's a massive storm outside. Bit of lightning there. Referrers. So if you have a professional referrers dashboard, and this is something I think everyone watching this video needs to create or needs to refine. It's something that can always be done better. But create a dashboard for your referrers. So you know who refers, when they refer, who they referred, how much do they refer, how often. And with that, you're able to see, well, where are our key referral sources? Where do we need to spend more time building relationships? And where can we spend more time strengthening relationships? And simply focusing on those two key points is going to make a massive difference to who and how many people are referred into your service. And also making sure that those referrers are referring in ideal clients, because if people are referring in not ideal clients, we want to communicate that to them. Review your referrer database the last year, and that links in really well of making sure that we are getting the right type of referrals. And there's nothing worse than getting referrals coming through that you can't genuinely help, that you're not the right people for. And it's great to refer those people on, but it's best that they went to the right place in the first place. Schedule your referrer visits for the first half of the year. We try and get as many of those scheduled into the diary, whether it's GPs, surgeons, for us as physios at my clinic, whoever it may be, support coordinators, plan managers. If you rely on referrals within your business, make sure you're building and strengthening those relationships. That goes for referrer lunches too, and sending out gifts and cards as necessary. And also send a thank you video to some of your main referrers. And this really just came a little bit because of COVID, right? I would love to go out and shake everyone's hand and say thank you, especially in the healthcare field at the moment. It still may not be the best idea to go out and catch up with everyone all the time, although it's getting better and better every day, right? Finally, finance. Review the monthly budget and find opportunities to adjust your expenses accordingly. Monthly review of finances for December, and ideally you're doing a monthly review every month. Typically what I say is do it on the 10th of the month, because that gives you time to reconcile everything. If you aim for everything reconciled by the 7th of the following month, and then on the 10th you review it, you'll be in a great rhythm for understanding your finances. Finalize your budget for the coming year. And if you do not have a budget I believe is essential for any business, especially a healthcare clinic, to understand where are our numbers tracking against where we want them to be. Follow up outstanding invoices from the holiday period. A good rule of thumb is making sure that your outstanding invoices are less than 10% of your monthly revenue. So if your monthly revenue is $200,000 per month, you want to make sure that at the end of the month, your outstanding invoices or overdue invoices are less than 10% of that. Review practitioner revenue and wage percentage targets. Now, this might not make a whole heap of sense, but you may go, for each practitioner that works within our business, we want to make sure that we have a gross profit of 60%. So that means that it costs us 40% of the revenue to deliver the service. And in that case, we need to make sure that our wages are 40% or less of our total revenue. And then creating ways to achieve this. Scheduled payments that may need to be made over the leave period. So again, if you're doing this in December and you have payments that need to be made over December, maybe early January when people aren't in the clinic, or you want to have some time off as well, make sure they're scheduled into your app, whatever it is, CommBank, ANZ, schedule those in so you don't have to doing them manually. Reviewing your rolling break even and comparing with your next year's goals. The rolling break even is basically, it's a forecasting spreadsheet that we use at Clinic Mastery. It helps us to understand what is our break even right now, incorporating things like commissions and rewards and bonuses, etc. And where do we want to be? And it helps us to understand the path to get there. And so what we do is we review that probably quarterly with every single clinic that we work with. Scheduling fee updates. And I think that this is extremely important in healthcare at the moment. I understand there's some challenges around this if you have fee schedules, say with the NDIS, Medicare, things like that. But scheduling those fee updates to make sure that we are keeping our services moving up in line with inflation at the very least. And scheduling an accountant meeting for the coming year, especially if you're looking at, if this is December and you're doing this, and we're halfway through the financial year, it's a great time for January or February to be sitting down with your accountant and reflecting on what has happened and what you predict is going to happen. Because this helps you for tax planning, which is a really key part of being a business owner, because it means we can tax plan. You can't tax plan if you're an employee, right? But as a business owner, what we can look at doing is how can we legally minimize the tax that we're paying? And any accountant will tell you they want to make sure that you pay enough tax that you don't go to jail, but not too much tax that you're losing it all. Because it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And so having that conversation with your accountant is worth its weight in gold. Even if it's a paid appointment, every year, 2 to 3 times a year, you should be talking about tax planning. So schedule that in your diary. So we've gone through the first page here. Hopefully you've kept up with that and you're watching it on 2x speed so that you can get through this a lot faster. The next thing to do is to actually action these, create an action schedule. If it's not something you can just tick off like that, create an action schedule. So down here, you may go week commencing, diary planning, team culture, and just put in there. If this is week 1, week 2, week 3, or go by dates, but put in which of these key things. And the easiest way to do that would be, let's say you were going to review this here, just go copy. And what was that, team, sorry. And you would just chuck that in there and paste that in there. And if you're like me, a little bit OCD, you want that in the middle, just chuck them all in the middle. And you just highlight them all and go like so. Beautiful, much better. And then there's an alternative action schedule here, which is similar. It's just a little bit smaller, a little bit more streamlined. You can use whichever of these suits you the best. So, stop sharing that one now. Having done this, and if you have made it this far in this video, what I'd like you to do now is to block out 1 hour in your diary where you can go through this and you can map out a plan to tick off each and every one of these things that applies to you. Because I guarantee if you do that, that will be one of the best 1 hour that you spend this entire year for your business. You're going to have complete clarity. You're going to know what you need to do each week. You'll look at each week and go, right, these are the 2 or 3 key tasks that I need to do this week. And you can sleep easy, you can rest easy, knowing that they're going to get done. Because if you put all these into that plan and you go through and you tick them all off, then guess what? They are all going to get done. So you don't need to worry about what's coming because it's in the diary. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe. We are going to be releasing one video like this every single week, and also a lot of shorts now. We've got Mick Risk and Ben Lynch who are pumping out great content, less than 60 seconds long, and is going to help you as a business owner to really take your business to the next level. So until next week, my friends, have a fantastic day, have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you in the next video.